50 years later.
Okay, thank you.
Pre-planning anything.
You having fun?
I love it.
No.
So I'm not really a beginner. I played the trombone for a while. Piano.
What is my brother's name?
I'm not good at it,
But you're having fun, that's all that matters.
I played the oboe.
Oh, yeah.
You do or you did?
I still have one, and I break it out every once in a while.
that double reed is very hard to play.
Is there a bottle of wine involved when you break it out?
I love the oboe. I played it all through high school. Loved it.
You're the one that they set the tuning to.
They had to because I was, yeah.
Because the oboes are exactly at the right hertz for the A. Exactly.
I loved it. I still do.
I think the oboe's a nice instrument.
I bring it out every once in a while and just make sure I can still play it because you lose that, your embouchure, you
Yeah.
lose that if you don't.
And it's very difficult with a double reed. That and the bassoon, they're just terrible instruments for me to play anyway, when I did it.
I played flute and piccolo during marching band, and then the oboe during concert band. It was fun.
So where did you have the music when you played your flute?
You had to memorize it.
I
They had the holders, but they were heavier
I
than
know.
the flute.
Remember in the Music Man, they're trying to figure out how to do that. Maybe we should just bring our instruments in and play it at one of these meetings instead of just having a
Fabulous.
regular meeting.
I'm sure I still know how to sight read. Sure.
Anybody else play anything?
I don't have my French horn anymore, so.
I made all three of my kids play the trumpet because I dated a trumpet player when I was in high school, and he was the greatest kisser. And we had a trumpet, so all three of my kids played the trumpet.
That's awesome.
And the only one of my kids that I actually told that to was my daughter much later.
I wish I had some musical talent. I don't. My daughter did with the violin. She did very well.
My granddaughter plays the violin.
You don't need talent to play. Like, I'm a living proof of that.
Well, if you want to play in public once in a while.
He's ready upstairs.
Okay, I'm just gonna wait a couple more minutes for. Oh no, Bill's not gonna be here.
Bill's not going to be here, and
Jason.
I haven't heard from Jason.
I haven't heard either. He said he's gonna be here.
But he was about 5 minutes late last time, so maybe he's in traffic.
Yeah. We should start.
Okay, we'll start. Okay, calling to order the meeting of LIFT for Thursday, May 9th, 2019, and the time is 6:31. We will start with the roll call.
Chairman Seiler?
Oh, you gonna do it?
Oh, I
No,
don't
go
have
ahead.
to.
No, go for
Sorry,
No,
sorry.
go for it.
Chair Seiler,
Here?
Member Breezak,
Here.
Member Christensen,
Here.
Member Henderson, Member Rychecki,
Here.
and Member Areno,
Here.
and Member Bill Hopping. Not here.
Yeah, he's out of town.
Yes. Thank you. We also like to welcome Wendy Hefner here, taking our minutes for the evening. Tiffany Wooten to give us a financial report. Don't know if Patrick is going to join us or not. So
I didn't hear
haven't
anything
heard.
today.
So, and we also like to welcome our neighbors who have joined us in person or online. So the next agenda thing is the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the?
You don't need to do that.
Oh, okay. Did we take that out?
You don't need to approve the agenda by motion.
All right. Then review and approval of minutes. So we have 2 sets of minutes to review and approve. We'll start with the March 14th meeting. It was tabled on our last meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Second?
Second.
Motion by Cindy Christensen and second by Joseph Areno. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The next is the approval of the April 11th meetings. Motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion was made by Joseph Marino to approve the minutes, second by Cindy Christensen. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. I do not have any announcements tonight. Public appearances. Those who are in attendance are welcome to come forward and address the board. We ask that you state your name for the record at the beginning, and please limit your comments to the 3 minutes. Does anybody wish to come forward? Yes.
I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about.
Could you state your name, please?
Oh, I'm Linda Knufinke in the 4th District.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to say that you guys have an existing urban renewal plan, which council approved a modified plan on February 17th, 2015. And I would recommend that you implement and follow the existing plan as you're required to do, or create something new. In either case, you must diligently follow the state law and its specific requirements for urban renewal. And you can't modify the plan without approval of city council. So here's the urban renewal plan. I kind of wanted to go through a couple pieces of this plan. It's the amended urban renewal plan, and what it tells you is the responsibility of LIFT is to prepare and execute of any documents in implementing the plan. Council's responsibility is to take the amended plan, and it's a matter of legislative determination, which means that the council has to approve any amendments to the plan that you make. The plan provides a defined purpose and vision, and again, from the state law, the defined purpose is to reduce and eliminate and prevent the spread of blight, and that's also in the plan, so you have your purpose and your vision. The plan also has objectives and plan development and design objectives. That's 3.2 and 3.3. And according to the plan, you can only do very specific things, and one is to complete public improvements and facilities. One is to complete non-public improvements in roads, promote development and redevelopment, and so forth and so forth. A lot of these are in state law and the requirements of state law, so that's why we have them in the Combine Square Urban Renewal Plan. But as you can tell, in those defined responsibilities of the urban renewal plan, there are no specific projects. In any plan, any new plan must have projects. So let's go to the state law and see that an urban renewal plan means a plan for urban renewal project. So the plan needs to have projects in it, and it has to be very specific. And just to note, it says which a plan conforms to a general or master plan for the physical development of the municipality as a whole. And so council can't change the plan after they pass the plan. It has to come through you guys. And you have two choices: work with the confines of the existing plan or create a new plan. If you create a new plan, there are stringent legal requirements you must follow. And council still has to formally adopt the plan, and it goes to voters. And the process is formalized by the law. It is extensive and expensive. It's not just formalizing the goals, the vision, and the needs of the property owners. There are very specific legal requirements for the plan in the law. So just to note that your properties are in your Appendix B of the plan, and that's a listing of all of the urban renewal properties that exist within the plan. So again,
Thank you. Your time's up.
Okay, thank you.
Does anybody else wish to come forward? Okay, we will close time for public appearances. Financial report. Ms. Wooten has joined us to go over the financial reports for January, February, March, so we can adopt those. And so I will turn it over to her to discuss and field any questions we may have.
Excuse me,
Yes.
Chair. After speaking with Finance Director Hooten and Manager Ralph, you all do not need to approve these financials. They are just for your, to reflect on them and to have them every month, but they're not necessary to approve. Okay? Just wanted to throw
That's
that
fine.
in there.
All right, then we'll just review them, and Ms. Wooten has made herself available for any questions we've had. I think, Member Rycheck, you may have had some in the past, so we will turn it over to you to discuss.
Sure, thank you. Included in your packet was the March 31st financial statements, and they do incorporate January through March. So just real quickly, I think overall there really wasn't much of any change from January to March. You definitely did receive interest earnings on the balances in Collar Trust and now also in the Wells Fargo account. So for the first quarter, you've received $1,893 in interest on the funds that you're holding. And the only expenditures that have been incurred through March 31st was actually a bill that was paid to the City of Littleton for advertisement of notices in the local paper for resolutions that have been publicized in the local paper, and that was $27. And then as far as property taxes, Columbine is clearly the only area that you're collecting property taxes on, and through March 31st, you've collected $29 worth of property taxes in that area. Overall, the funds that are being held as of March 31st are $346,622. A portion of that is allocated to North Broadway, which is the one URA area that we were holding the $25,000 and then an additional $1,600 that was due back to the county for some abatements. And I just wanted to update you on that. Those checks and have been sent to those taxing authorities in April, and so they have been sent to the taxing authorities. You are 100% whole with the taxing authorities as of April 30th. So I did want to mention that to you, that that's been taken care of. So after that payment, there's roughly $320,000 available. And just as a reminder, that came from sales tax increment from prior years, and also a little bit of property taxes from Columbine, and then funds from the loan from the City of Littleton is where that resignated from. The other part that I did want to mention is the City of Littleton will be remitting a tax increment payment to Lyft in the next month or so. So I just wanted to let you know that that is forthcoming from the City of Littleton for property tax or sales tax increment from the Columbine area for the last 12 months.
For what you say last 12 months, are you talking about literally from March to?
No, I should clarify. It's actually the 12-month period that we collect and compare to the base year. And if I remember correctly, it is actually from, I want to say it's through the end of February.
And the
End
estimated,
of February 2019?
2019, yes.
the estimated amount is about 78,000.
Actually, it's going to be more than that. I don't know the final number, but it's going to be more than 78,000.
Substantially more, or just nominally?
Substantially more, I would say. Just based on the revenues that have come in sales tax from that area.
Amazing. We have an urban renewal area designated slum and blight that can produce that kind of increment in sales tax revenue.
It's based on the base year.
However, we do have a raised building and foundation and parking lot over the park.
Yeah, it's not contributing to that increment. So we're doing it on the back of all the other businesses.
Casual observer driving by might think it's not a very attractive area.
Any other questions for
Yeah, so with that, if you have any specific questions, I am happy to answer those.
Tiffany, would you go to page 3?
Sure.
And just kind of go over the investment earnings, this to what we had just looked at. The 6,085, that's from 2018, and then 6,450 just be adopted.
Right, that's the
And
budget.
we are at a shortfall of 4,557. Is that just because of timing?
Yes, yes. So the 6,450 is the budget for the entire year. And so through March, you've collected 1,893. So that will definitely go up through the coming months. So it probably would be closer to, I would guess, 7,000 probably would be just a guesstimate on that. Rates continue to go up, so.
Any other questions?
It's good.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
So business reports, I don't think we really have any. We have some unfinished business. At this point, I will turn this over to Joseph to give us an update on where things are at in that arena.
Yeah, last week, Ken was able to provide us with 3 different referrals. He was a bit delayed because of some travel plans and some other urgent matters that came up that he was working on in the last month. The 3 candidates that we have in front of us, I've been in touch with 2 of them, and we're scheduling meetings for early next week. So I would expect that we would be able to have either a special meeting or have 1 or 2 of them at our next regular scheduled meeting. I did not contact the 3rd because this firm is about $115 more per hour than Hamry, which I thought was our upper threshold of what we could stomach. The other 2 candidates are less expensive than Hamry Rodriguez, but very well experienced and well known in the municipal law world. So all in all, good referrals, I imagine, and I think we're going to have good conversations on Monday, and I think Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, so the next one might work out.
So Joseph, we still have Henry Rodriguez in the mix, right?
Yes, that's
And
correct.
so now we're looking at, you've got 2 others that we
That's
could
correct.
possibly
Yeah.
be talking to.
Yeah, unless, I did not contact this more expensive firm, assuming that it was over our threshold, but I wanted to touch base with all of you on that, and then let them know whether or not we're interested, because Ken did contact them, so.
I mean, I would go with your recommendation, since
Yeah,
since you know what the numbers are and how much more it would be.
Sure,
than
yeah, I
the
mean,
others.
this would be more than even Moy White, which we first interviewed.
Yeah, right.
And I think that, given the, I should say, lack of complexity of things that we have, at least on the immediate horizon, that might not be justified right now.
Joseph, if you were talking to 2 of the candidates and determined that one of them really just wouldn't work out, would you consider talking to that 3rd one?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm with Cindy. I would rely on your judgment. You've worked through this thing all along.
Yeah, and I think the other candidates, I believe they both have experience representing urban renewal authorities, experience both in transactional and litigation. The one, they're probably both qualified. One of them did specifically state that he's close to retirement, so not taking on long-term clients. So we'll just have to evaluate, what are those plans for the future. So if all we're talking about right now is what's in the next year, that makes sense. But if we're wanting to grow what we're doing after that, then we might have to look at it a little differently.
Is he in private practice?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, but absolutely qualified.
Yeah, I concur with the others. We're relying on you and Jason have been plugged in on this and talking to the folks. I think also that the price point for candidate number 3 is not fiscally justified at this juncture. So, let us know, and we'll talk more about study sessions or meeting with them.
Thank you.
Later. So thank you very much. Just wondering if there's any updates you have, Cindy, with regards to the website and things that we talked a couple of sessions ago.
We just keep working on it, and Eric did get all of the, or updated on the, in the meeting section.
Would you like to look at it?
Sure.
God bless you. Oh, I know. That was a bummer, wasn't it? Hang on.
Did you lose your credentials?
Okay, now we're going. I always have to go here first because I can't ever remember the thing, but it just comes up just like this. And then, whoops. And then you go to the bottom and you can go to the website. I just thought you might want to look at it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So, they've done a lot of work on this. It looks so much better. So there's that.
Yeah, and
this.
we've come up with a good system to get the meetings coming up.
Yep, I was just going to show that.
Yeah.
This is the system for the meetings that we'll be having. And normally, let me just say that we're still working out the processes because we've taken over all of the quasi-judicial boards in the city clerk's office. So we're still working out some kinks, but we're getting there. And normally, your video will be up the next day, okay? It'll be here, and it'll be on the OMP site. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. I thought y'all might want to look at it and see. It's got the meeting video, it's got the documents for the board meeting and everything, so.
Yeah, and I think we're up to date until we add in the ones that we just approved tonight, because we were one behind.
Right here, this, I'll take care of those.
Yeah, we hadn't done the March one yet, so
Right.
Right.
we were down.
And these are over here on this side. Yeah, you can see me. Okay, over here on this side are the minutes, and so we'll just be adding those minutes as they come in. As soon as they're approved, then we'll add them up there.
I thought we had determined we would put the draft minutes up and then switch them once they were approved.
I think, I've been under the assumption that we would just put the minutes up there once they're approved.
Yeah.
Because they do get changed.
Right,
When
I
we
know,
go to
and
approve them and-
we could go back, but I believe we made a decision to put the draft up. With the subcommittee meeting, Wendy, instead of leaving the minute area just blank, could we put something in there that minutes were not required or something, so it doesn't look like
You
we-
mean over here, it looks like we don't have anything?
It looks like we've got something missing.
Okay, I'll see if he can add that in and see if he can put something in there that it was a study session and minutes weren't required or something.
Right.
Sure, we can do that. But it goes back, let's see, to, not on that page. Oh yeah, there it is. That's the last ones. It goes back to March 8th of 2018. So we're at a year.
And then
So-
and then after that, you go to the one, I think it's called meetings before that, and then you get the historic.
And then here's the meetings prior.
So does it drop off just, March 2018 is that drop-off point, that doesn't change? It doesn't matriculate down?
No.
Okay, so we always have everything
It will
before
always
March
be there
above
from
it.
March, that March 8th, I think it was, meeting forward. They don't go away. They just stay on there and it just keeps making pages.
Okay,
So they'll be there.
good.
Right.
Yep. What else do you want to look at? These are the redevelopment projects, which it shows that they were repealed except for Columbine Square. The lift links, it's got the city of Littleton,
Yeah, we didn't
CML.
cut that back so that it was really pertained to lift, because there were a lot of links in there that really didn't take you any place that would help, and that kind of thing. So, and we left CML in there so that we could have some of that.
So where, I just don't recall, I know we discussed it, there it is, the lift documents, okay. So, I don't know if you've had a chance yet to do the bylaws.
I fixed them all. I was
Okay.
just sitting over there going, I meant to bring you all copies of the all fixed bylaws tonight, but we can get those up here as well.
Right, yeah, when you get those done.
I'll put that in my notes.
That'd be great, thank you.
Yep, I can do that. Anything else?
No, the thing was just getting the minutes accurate, there were some issues there. It sounds like we were getting
Yeah.
pretty close, not cleaned up already.
Yep, we've got it all cleaned
Okay.
up.
Yeah.
No,
we
this is
did.
great.
And we even went back, so there were some issues as you go back before that day. There were some meetings, for a while, there were some meetings that were canceled.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just kind of blank on there, so I think it says now meeting was canceled or canceled,
Yes.
that type of thing.
Great.
So Eric put in all of those so that it would not be just blank.
Okay, great. Any questions for Cindy? Thank you for work on this, and also please, on behalf of the board, thank Eric for his work. It's appreciated. Okay, new business. Couple things to talk about. So, our next meeting, regular scheduled meeting is June 13th. That same evening is, remind me what it is?
It's the Board of Commission dinner that happens every year. So they always have it on that Thursday. And kind of in tie with the next item is that Chairman Seiler asked me to look at some places because I thought we might be able to reschedule the June meeting to all the dates, and I checked all the way through the year, and the last Thursday of the month is available except for June 27th, because that's the night that I planned back in December, I think, to have our potential candidate forum that night. So we can't do it to the 27th, but because the 13th is being canceled, so I didn't know which way you wanted to go with the 13th. If you want to cancel it or reschedule it.
I personally would not like to, I'd like to reschedule it, just because, I want to keep the momentum going on what we've been working on. What dates do we have
I'm looking.
around the 13th or the following week that we can reschedule it for?
I'm looking, I'm sorry.
No, no problem.
It's just that there's not a lot of dates left out there. Let me pull up the community room here. Okay, that's tonight, so we need to go to June. Okay, yikes. Can't do it the first week. Okay, here we go. Skip past that. All right, let me see here. Okay, and also, I will not be available to take minutes if you have it in the first 2 weeks of June, because I will be gone for my daughter's wedding. So, if you want it to be someone to take minutes, you either need to hold it after that, or, so the first week, let me see what we've got. There's Wednesday, the 5th, and you guys don't like to do it on a Friday. There is none of those nights, that would be that week. And then
I ask a question? So that there were some nights that she was unavailable, but given what we're kind of working on right now, is it necessary to have a board meeting, or do you think by having another study session?
A study session?
Require minutes or anything would also serve our purposes?
Right.
So what I'm trying to do is have us plan out for the next up through September, a meeting every other week. Whether that's a study session or a board meeting, depending on what we're doing, it'll be determined as that date comes closer. So that's what I asked Wendy to do, is say, okay, what's available, let's get it on our calendars now, and then we just continue to do the work we're doing. If there's nothing to meet, let's say if we had a study session set for the fourth Thursday of the month, and there's nothing to deal on, we'll just cancel that meeting. I just want the placeholder because this place gets booked up. And
Right.
So I wanted to get it out there ahead of time so we all have it. The goal is to try to meet and move on something if we need to.
And the study sessions right now, because we do not have the funds, we have not budgeted for a second meeting for LIFT, it will not be recorded. Because I don't have someone to come in and record it.
That's,
So I'm just letting you know. But all of the other, for all the way up through December, the fourth Thursday of every month is available on here.
So,
And we can do the 5th or the 26th of June for the June meeting.
and Joseph, I think I'm following what you're trying to get at, that perhaps we don't need a minute taker. We would be interviewing attorneys.
Yes, so that would just broaden the dates that we have available, so we're not limited by the city clerk's calendar as well. And an additional question I have is whether a board action is necessary if we did decide on an attorney and had a consensus about it, and it was discussed at me, whether a formal action is necessary for Chairman Seiler to enter into an agreement, or if we can make it have a consensus at a study session, and then the chairman.
If you're expending money on an attorney, you need to do it in a regular session, and you need to have a first and a second. So you could decide that night, but then you'd have to bring it back to a regular
Okay, so
meeting.
that answers my question. Not to schedule on a day where we wouldn't have a.
But if we had a regular meeting and the purpose was to interview attorneys, there really isn't much in the way of note-taking that's required, except if there is a motion, a first and a second, and a vote. So we could conceivably conduct our business if it was important to make a decision that evening to proceed. I'm not sure that we would need to, want to, but it sounds like perhaps maybe we should have the opportunity to.
so right now, we've got, Wendy, correct me if I'm wrong, as I understand it, we have May 30th available for a study session.
Oh, I didn't even check May 30th. But I think there's a meeting that night, but maybe not. That's my last night before I leave. Yes.
So I would have put a placeholder on that,
Okay?
that we'll either use for our work with the city, with Kathleen, to come back and provide us some information, or if Joseph is able to line up any of the attorneys. I'd also, because I really would like to put to bed this whole attorney thing, also reserve the 6th as a study session for the purpose of interviewing an attorney. So that gives you a couple options.
Not
I thought
the
you said-
6th,
Oh,
the 5th.
I'm sorry, 5th.
Okay.
So we'll have that also.
As a regular meeting?
No, as a study session, as a placeholder for a study session, unless we're able to do both the previous week if Joseph's able to bring both of them in the previous week,
Okay.
and, we can decide then, we're real comfortable with one of those two or with the other one we've talked to, and then we can easily convert that that one to a regular session to deal with that issue.
Okay.
Again, I think we're all kind of anxious to want to get this behind us. And so we'll put these placeholders in and I'll wait to hear back from Joe and go from there and advise everybody. If the 5th becomes a board meeting, we'll figure out the minutes parts somehow. It'll probably be just a short agenda, and it may just be a special session to deal with that issue. So then we can also, looking at this, the 13th will be canceled. Do we want to put a placeholder for the 27th for the regular meeting, just to see how just depending on things work out?
Not the 27th,
I thought, not the 27th,
the 26th.
26th, sorry.
It's a Wednesday night because I have my potential candidate forum that night.
That's right, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
the 26th. Okay, so we'll put a placeholder there for the rescheduled meeting.
Okay,
And then after that, am I safe to say that the 4th Thursday of every month will be a placeholder for a study session or regular meeting depending on the business we need to conduct? So we can all get that on our calendars.
Can we just go through the dates real quick? Just
hang on, I have them
so
all.
July,
It looks like July
June, let's see, June 26th, so July would be
25th,
5,
August 29th.
22nd would be the 4th.
Or, I'm sorry, that's right, the 1st is a Thursday.
Wait a minute. Yep, we're okay.
Okay. Then we would be looking at September 26th. All right. And then we'll stop at that at this point because we're supposed to meet with City Council in October.
Right. Okay, I'll get them all on the calendar and get them all figured out. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Have you thought about inviting council to our meeting on October 24th? That might be good to get on their calendar.
I believe the intent is to have another joint meeting with them. That has to be, and I need to talk to Mayor Brinkman about getting that on the agenda early.
In your discussion, rather than doing it at the library or the museum, I would push for something that's going to be tape recorded and, in public at a regular meeting.
I'll share that.
We can do it at a study session at night.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be a breakfast again. I think the
No, I
breakfast
don't think so either.
was set up to be more informal, to have a nice, conversation, informal conversation about it. We can have a study session in the evening, whether it lands the same evening of our regular meeting or some other meeting.
Or city council study session.
Or city council study session.
Okay.
I'll work with Mayor Brinkman on that. And by the next session, I'll try to have that date nailed down because these things tend to creep up on us real fast and then we don't have a date. So I will talk to her about that. All right, great. At this point, we'll go around if anybody has any comments or reports. Member Reject, do you have any comments or reports?
I've been thinking a lot about something that you had said at the last meeting and items that we hear from the public. And you made a statement that there are some misconceptions or false information, misinformation in the community about urban renewal. And we heard from Linda tonight about her concerns with the law and how we're proceeding or how she thinks we're proceeding. And I think it would be really beneficial to the members of the community and to this board for us to actually meet with the citizens that come and express their point of view and see if we can get some of this stuff, see if we can find common ground and understanding of some of the issues so that they're off the table as we move forward. I feel like we've got we've got some issues, the citizens come and speak to us, but we never respond. We never acknowledge that their concerns are legitimate and maybe they misunderstand, so let's put it out there and let's all get a common understanding of what the situation is, so we're not dealing with this on top of whatever it is we determine to do in proceeding. So I'd like to see a listening, but to our citizens, and try to just kind of clear the air. So,
I think if we did something like that, we would definitely want to wait until we have our attorney on board, because I think that, there may be there are some things that we want to ask that person and have some clarification for us before we do anything like that. The concern I have is that this would end up just being a session where we have a lot of people that are just complaining about what we're doing or not coming up with real constructive ideas about what we're doing. And I'm not sure how we would structure that kind of meeting so that wouldn't happen. And that we do get the input that we need. So we would just need to think about how we could do that and have it, so how we could make it a meeting where we get information, they get understanding of what we're doing. That's why I said the attorney would be good to have, because we could have some information that person has. So those are my only questions or, concerns about if we would do something like that.
I think that's good. I think you're right. An attorney is definitely required before we enter into something like that. I put it out there, not like that it's going to happen next week, but
Right.
I feel like we're shooting ourselves in the foot if we don't address some of those concerns before we get further down this road. Just my ideas.
The only thing I would wish would like you to consider, I don't think it's a bad idea, but I share, as you brought this up, Cindy's concern is how do we structure that? How do we structure it so it is constructive and just not a complaint gripe session? Some of the stuff that's been brought up, we haven't given a response to, because an attorney would be asked, okay, what is the interpretation? Are they interpreting this correctly? We've had that discussion amongst ourselves in the past, when we had Corey here, 2.5 years ago, when we were going through some things and we would get his opinion. And then, there were some other things that were brought up and we were given some confidential advice with Mr. Kemp in the past. So it's not a bad idea. I would need some help from you and the other board members who are interested in doing that, is how do we construct that? How do we do it so it is a positive, constructive back and forth where people come away with it, maybe not agreeing, but respectfully disagree, and we move forward.
Yeah, if the citizens would understand, if we have that disagreement, if there's an understanding of what our position is, we can agree to disagree, but if we have good logical basis for our decision, that's good. It might be worth, as you're talking to attorneys, Joseph, to explore with them. And I think we would need to help.
Free legal advice over here.
No.
To see how do they approach.
Yeah, we have a
ideas correctly.
situation it's really untenable, and it needs to be worked through. So
Yeah.
I think it would be worth having, 3 or 4 minutes of discussion with them. And I definitely think that it would be something, if we decide to move that direction, that we do it when we have an attorney. So might as well broach the subject with them at this point.
No, I think it's a good idea. I agree with both the chairman and Cindy. And if the last meeting made something clear to me, it's that even despite disagreements that come up right now, there's still a lot of history that weighs on different individuals and different conversations that can be dealt with positively or can be dealt with negatively. And have that choice, and everybody participating has that choice. And if we do engage it, I hope we do it well, and everybody, citizens and board members, gives everybody else the benefit of the doubt that we love our city.
Good, thank you.
All right, thank you. Cindy? Anything?
So I know that we're going to get Kathleen back when she has some of the information on the properties and that kind of thing. So that's one that I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, and that's gonna be part of mine, because she sent me an email today.
Oh, good.
So, Joseph?
Nothing, I do apologize for not making it to the study session. Like I told the chair, we had some childcare issues and craziness, and I even forgot to notify him ahead of time.
No problem. Jack?
I pass.
So all I have is, I did get a follow-up from Kathleen today. So this is kind of a reminder. Our homework is to review the Bellevue corridor that was adopted in July of last year. And then start thinking about drafting a set of interview questions that we would want to have when in this outreach to the property owners, the stakeholders in the Columbine Square area. And then city council, city staff will help us craft those in the most effective manner. So when we start that outreach, it's something positive.
And sorry, to clarify, is this for residents or for business owners, did you say? Or for
I think it's for both. I mean, I think, people who have a stake in this area, whether, it's not just the property owners. I mean, if we do, some of the things we'd be discussing with would be directly with the property owners. But again, I think if whatever we're doing and whatever we're looking at doing, I think the other business owners have a stake in it and the property owners have a stake in it, and we should hear what their thoughts are. I wouldn't want to go against the grain if the community is saying and the businesses are saying, we don't want a 50-foot spire in the middle of a parking lot. I mean, just whatever it is. If we look at these projects, what would we look at it that's going to get the most positive reaction?
Can I offer, this is a document that's put out by Ann Ritter when the urban renewal areas were being created. And this is actually before it had been approved. And I thought perhaps it would be worth mentioning to figure out what we might do under the circumstances. It says that the Columbine Square area is a number of parcels owned by out-of-state interests, particularly those that are part of a larger portfolio or assets, whereas they often lack the attention paid by those with a local presence. So it sounds like we have a lot of property owners that live out of state. So that, to me, complicates things, but it's not something that we can't overcome. So I think we ought to be thinking about how it is we engage property owners in that area that do not live here and can't come into this room or be in the room wherever it is that we go.
Mm-hmm. No, I think there's.
That's good. We can come up with questions. We can figure out how to, talk to them, or, actually, maybe use a different, we email them, however we do.
I mean, there's video conferencing. I mean, there are tools available to us today that
right,
I
and
think.
I just want us to be aware that might be something that we probably should be thinking about doing.
Right. And just to remind people what city staff is working on, I mean, this kind of goes to your point is, they're looking at the database of landowners and updating that and making sure we know who the property owners are. Gathering background on materials from the community and business outreach for the Bellevue Corridor Vision. They're going to coordinate a presentation about grant programs and streetscapes efforts funded by URAs. And staff will determine any short-term infrastructure investments in or near the urban renewal area. So that's what they're working on. So as soon as she says, they have something to report, we'll add that to an agenda or a study session, depending on, what's being presented, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Any other questions? Anything else? That's all I have for tonight. Okay. Motion for adjournment? Don't need one?
You can just adjourn.
I can just adjourn, so, well, I will just adjourn
At 7:20.
at 7:20, 18, well, which one are we going?
7:18 was good.
Okay, sound like,
And then, Kevin, you'll give us an update about the meeting dates that we have tentative?
yes, but I want to make sure Bill and Jason are aware of those dates.
I can send out an email with all the dates
That would be-
tomorrow when I get them on the calendar.
Great, and also, I know we talked about, who was the last I think Joe was the last person to join us?
Me, well, Cindy,
No, I think you were the very last, weren't you? I don't think we have an updated anyway, whoever, we don't have the most current member contact list of all the board members. I think the last one we had was when, what was his name was here? He resigned because of his job.
oh, that's Bill was.
Maybe it was before Bill joined us.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure we all have our contact information.
I'll put that in the email as well.
Great,
The dates.
thank you. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.